So if you're tuning into Effy's Big Game Brunch expecting 5-star classics, you're not gonna find them. But if you're here for bold expression, joyful defiance, and wrestling that can actually mean something, this show might surprise you in the best way. This wasn't a show built around match of the year contenders. It was built around identity. Loud, proud, and playful. A space for wrestlers to perform without compromise. And quite honestly, that vibe mattered more than the match quality ever could. So instead of going match by match in order, let's talk about what actually carried this show. What stood out, what didn't, and why the feel of this card might be the most important part. GCW World Title, Effy vs. Dark Sheik. Now this was the emotional center of the card. Not the best match, but the most representative of what the show is. Now Effy and Sheik did have chemistry. The crowd was into it, and it had that sense of occasion that a main event needs. But that roll-up finish, blah. Like it literally cut the legs out from under the moment. So while the match didn't deliver a strong payoff, it still worked as a closing note. Because who closed mattered more than how they did it. I give this one 3 stars. The 6-way scramble match. Now this was easily one of the most fun matches on the card. It had great energy, solid pacing, and the kind of character variety that makes a scramble pop. But nobody truly stood out, or even had a big moment to take it over the top. So it was better than expected. Not great, but a perfect example of how fun can be enough when a show knows exactly what it wants to be. I give this one 3 3/4 stars. The rookies versus the veterans. Now this match I thought was surprisingly smooth, especially for such a crowded format. The rookies versus vet concept gave it a subtle story, and the crowd stayed engaged throughout. But I thought no one really took command or gave that breakout moment. So it worked more as a vibe builder than a standout, which I think fits the show's identity just fine. This gets 3 stars. Pero vs. Max the Impaler vs. Zico vs. Brick Savage. Now this was more structured than it looked going in, and that did actually help the flow here. But it never really escalated. Now the pace stayed steady, but it lacked the drama or urgency enough for me. So it ended up being a decent palate cleanser, but not something that'll stick with you. This gets 3 1/4 stars. Zack Sabre Jr. vs. Kid Bandit. Now Zack Sabre Jr. matches always brings a layer of intrigue, especially when paired with someone that has some different type of style. Now I thought Kid Bandit held their own, and there was interest early on, but I thought it started to drag midway, and that slide finish didn't land with enough weight. So I thought it was fine, but ultimately it felt like more of a novelty than something meaningful. This gets 3 stars. Sonny Kiss vs. Abaddon. Now this match had its place on the card. The tone and presence made sense, but I thought the timing felt off and not enough to pull me back in. So it just never clicked for me, and the end result was more forgettable than bad. This gets 2 1/2 stars. Rico Gonzalez vs. Aaron Rourke. Now I thought both wrestlers worked hard, and you could feel the effort, but it went way too long for what it was, and it lost its rhythm as it went on. So to me, this was the most skippable match, though not bad, just unnecessary. This gets 2 3/4 stars. Effy's Big Game Brunch 10 wasn't built for tape trading purists or modern wrestling geeks like me. It was built to carve out space, celebrating personality, visibility, joys in ways most wrestling shows don't even attempt, and that alone gave it value. The matches were hit and miss, but the mission was pretty clear, and for the most part, it delivered on that front. This gets a 7 out of 10. Good, not great, but it was bold, fun, and built different in all the right ways. Now if you watched this show, let me know what worked for you. Was there a match you connected with more than I did? Or do you think this kind of show matters even when the wrestling is just okay? Drop a comment below. If you enjoyed this review, go ahead and hit that like, hit that subscribe, and share this video out with your friends. And for that, I'll see y'all later.